A lot of us tend to think that we have the answers and live as if we have the answers to everything. I know, because I lived like this for a very long time, and I got to be honest, I still struggle with it. I do. I'm human, okay? But I do my best when I actually, shelf that. And when I realized it's not about having the right answers, but having the right questions, that's when my life and my ratios began to soar. Now, don't get it twisted, though. I still wrestle with not listening to my peers, my kids, my wife, my family, people in general, and I'm constantly reminding myself of what I'm teaching you. I teach this not because I'm perfect, but because it helps me to dial it all in and grow. I hope that this helps you understand that by getting to a point of being responsive, your ratios of winning your day-to-day conversations become higher, opposed to being sold to, while increasing your ratios with every conversation. So what are the key components to marketing and sales? How do some of the most successful entrepreneurs and business leaders set up freedom frameworks that we all got into business for in the first place? How did they find the time, energy, and resources to launch and scale strong? And how do rockstar entrepreneurs and business leaders with that champion mindset align their time, money, and energy in a way that will allow us to reach what we set out to achieve? These are the key questions, and this podcast will give you the answers. My name is Brian Chamberlain. This is the Convert on Command podcast. Thanks for listening to the Convert on Command podcast, sponsored by Convert on Command and Mission Ignition Marketing. If you want to ignite your business and increase your sales, be sure to visit convertoncommand.pro and set up a time that works best for you in the calendar at the bottom of the page under the latest feature video.
Hey guys, welcome to the Convert on Command podcast. I am the host for the day, Zach Shanky. This is my partner, Brian Chamberlain, the man, the myth, the legend. Anyway, so today we're going to go over our Passion to Profits book, chapter number 3, which is all about the 4 pillars of wealth. This is one of the things, guys, that got me interested in being a partner with Brian, is this concept of these 4 pillars. And guys, let me just tell you something. If you prioritize things in the way that we're going to describe here in chapter 3, in the way that Brian describes here, guess what? Your life is just going to improve automatically. It's like a switch. You flip a switch and life is so much better. Okay, so pay close attention. This is going to be amazing. Brian, take it away.
Wow. He just really got to butter a guy up, man. Like, you're getting even better and better. I kind of like want to let you continue to be the co-host even when it's your turn, because you're so good at it. Like, you're just so awesome with intros. And I can't help but roll my eyes sometimes with some. It's just like and you know what I. It is to have somebody pump you up that much. It's like, wow, like, but you know what? It's important. I love it. And at the end of the day, I am so honored to be in business with Zach. And for those of you, really quick before we dive into this, man, like, I don't think we've ever told the story on this podcast, but I actually, like, Zach was my coach. And he talks about how we went into business together, and this is kind of the foundational reason why we did. There were a few other things going on, but ultimately I needed help in a specific area, and it had to do with running ads. And when we went into business together, I realized that I just probably shouldn't do it, plain and simply. And I'm so grateful to have Zach in my life, because that's his gifting. Data and analytics, that's his gifting. But ultimately, you know, he was my coach. And to have your coach say some nice things about you like that, just it's really nice. So appreciate you, my man. And let's dive right back into it. So yeah, today, as Zach mentioned, the 4 pillars of wealth here, I'm just going to pull it up on the screen. And we are in draft 2, by the way, for the first listeners of our book called Passion to Profits. Again, we decided that we were going to do this where, you know, every week we would write a chapter in the first quarter, and we're now going into the second draft in the second quarter, and we're doing a draft a quarter to make this the absolute best that it can be. And we've got an inner circle group of people that have been helping this with us as we help them on their journey to turn their passion into profits. And so it's just been really amazing to see people's results, see people transform inside and out, inside as a human being, and then outside in terms of the results that they're getting as a result of the inside changes. So it's really, really, really enriching for us. This is our passion. We love watching people's dreams unfold. Okay. Passion to profits. We didn't always have that tagline. But now it's just so fun to see this unfold. Every chapter, people are reading, they're going through the content, they're listening to the podcast, they're going through this, and they're giving us their honest feedback. And every chapter we've gotten feedback, and it's all good feedback, but there are some really great pieces of advice. And in the last chapter, I made some pretty significant changes or updates. I added some things. And in this chapter, I'm really hoping to challenge some people to really dig deep and try and, please give us your honest feedback. This is the only chapter that we got all positive feedback, that everybody basically said thank you on the question, because we ask 4 questions every week. 1, what was your biggest takeaway? 2, what's your biggest question? 3, what's your biggest piece of advice? And then 4, how can we best support you moving forward? Those are the 4 key questions that we ask all of our audience every week. And I have people crying in this part, and just saying thank you and all that kind of stuff. And so it's an absolute honor. And I gotta be honest, this 4 pillars of wealth concept, this, I couldn't tell you where it came from. It's just an intrinsic kind of internal something that kind of came out of it. I don't even know if I want to take full credit for it. I just feel God has something to say through this. And so I'm gonna go ahead and start reading. Okay. Chapter 3, the 4 pillars of wealth. Have you ever heard the term sell or be sold? We're all in a process of selling and being sold to throughout the day in and day out. We actually even have to sell ourselves on the decisions that we make. Every decision when it comes to living life, whether we're in a reactive state or a responsive state, we are always selling and being sold to. Now, wouldn't you rather be in a responsive state instead of a reactive state? Now, if you don't know how to answer that question, let's talk about the difference between being responsive and reactive. To respond is to reply with poise and control versus react, which is to respond with hostility or opposition. Now, it's very difficult to win a fight when you're reacting to a punch versus responding to a movement while using the momentum created to continue the maneuver and signal the end result that you're looking for.
Have you been in a lot of fights, Brian? Is that what that's all about?
I suppose I think about, martial arts, or I think about, boxing or MMA or all that kind of stuff. It's, I don't know where that kind of came from. I'm just,
it's a great.
I ended up working with a coach who kind of explained that, and he was using Taekwondo type stuff in front of thousands of people, where he'd show how to overcome objections. And so I could stop a punch this way, or I could, when the person would punch, use that punch as momentum to keep the conversation flowing. And he just used such a great illustration. And maybe I should actually tell that story a little bit in here. And mention him a bit, but yeah, that's where that concept and idea came from.
Awesome.
Yeah. So when you know who you are, you can begin to respond to conversations by using all the energy that comes your way, whether positive or negative, to signal and maneuver your conversations towards your desired results. Example, if I know someone is trying to sell me, I will begin to ask questions that will either lead to a halt in conversation or potentially even working with me somehow. Like if someone spams me over Facebook about a get-rich-quick opportunity that I know doesn't align with my mission, vision, and value system, instead of getting defensive, I'll set the frame or picture or the environment, if you will, and ask a redirecting question. Example, I noticed that you're using a copy and paste cold outreach system here. I used to do the same thing. Man, was it ever tedious. I don't envy the process, but I love your work ethic. You're obviously willing to do anything to achieve your goals. Listen, what if there was another way? Would you be open to learning how we help rockstar entrepreneurs and business leaders with that champion mindset, just like you, to set up freedom frameworks that allow them to have more time freedom while driving impact and income without tedious cold outreach and guesswork?
That's so awesome.
The good news is that you can do this with exactly what you're doing right now if you want. Thanks, man. That's the good news. Like whatever you're doing right now, you can do this with exactly what you're doing. Okay. I'm not here to sell you a new opportunity. I'm just here to help you take your business to the next level. Should you be open to a conversation with me? Allow me to illustrate. Here's a screenshot of some of our results. And I literally sent screenshots of us generating leads for, like, in this screenshot shows we spent $122.31 and we got 17 conversions. That's costing us $7.19 for somebody to jump into our calendar that actually want our services. They want to talk with us. So I illustrate, right? So yeah, there's a screenshot. Now at this point, it's going to go two ways. One, their pride will kick in and they will halt the conversation. Or two, they will be open and welcome the assistance because I really spoke to their pain. In which case, I'll say, awesome, here's my calendar to make finding time easy. Feel free to set up a time that works best for you. I look forward to our next connection. Let me know if you have any questions. All the best in health, wealth, and relationships, always. 9 times out of 10, they set up a time and reach out to tell me that they can't wait and that their experience is already amazing. They wish they could get in touch with me sooner. This is because the approach that I've used starts with a full understanding of where they most likely are in their journey, coupled with engaging content that speaks to their pain and their challenges and providing a solution that will help them get their desired results. If you click on or visit the calendar link I shared with you above, okay, and like you can actually go to it here. It says go.convertoncommand.pro/Brian-calendar. Okay. Yeah, so if you click on that link, you'll notice that there's a 2-minute video that I didn't tell them to watch personally, but it would be very hard not to notice once they visit the page. And the content does most of the heavy lifting for me, as nothing beats illustrating as you engage in your conversations. Providing context or digging to reveal context will always help you win. A lot of us tend to think that we have the answers and live as if we have the answers to everything. I know, because I lived like this for a very long time, and I got to be honest, I still struggle with it. I do. I'm human, okay? But I do my best when I actually, shelf that. Okay? Yeah. I do my best when I shelf that. Okay? And it led to my demise many times. And when I realized it's not about having the right answers, but having the right questions, that's when my life and my ratios began to soar. Now, don't get it twisted, though. I still wrestle with not listening to my peers, my kids, my wife, my family, people in general. And I'm constantly reminding myself of what I'm teaching you. I teach this not because I'm perfect, but because it helps me to dial it all in and grow. Okay, and I hope that this helps you understand that by getting to a point of being responsive, your ratios of winning your day-to-day conversations I hope that this helps you understand that by getting to a point of being responsive, your ratios of winning your day-to-day conversations become higher in selling opposed to being sold to, while increasing your ratios with every conversation. Now, we're going to get into this more in the upcoming chapters, especially in chapter 9, Systems That Sell. But you see, the problem with most people entrepreneurs especially, is that they're so focused on making money that they opt in or start projects that they think will make them the most money in the shortest time frame with the least amount of work. And the illustration of the hard selling spammer is the best picture I felt I could paint for you to illustrate this. The hard selling spammer is constantly overselling and in a process of spamming versus targeting and understanding their audience enough to ask the right questions that will help inspire them to the actions that they already want to take. If you were to understand your audience enough to know their pain, the result that they want, and the objections and challenges that they're facing, you would know the proper questions and sequences to ask to get them through your funnel. Now, at this point, I hope it's crystal clear that I'm not saying you shouldn't make money as fast as you can. You need money to survive. It's the lifeblood of every business, and you need it to pay the bills and put food on the table. But what I've found, what I've found, having been a part of multiple MLMs, okay, multi-level marketing outfits, to make an extra buck and striving towards the idea of residual income while gunning to make it there as fast as possible, is that in the process of putting money first, I actually was pushing money away. And would you believe me if I said putting money first above all things is a poverty mentality? Think about it. If all you're focused on is money, your health naturally fades, and so do your relationships. I've experienced this firsthand. We actually call this the churn and burn model, which is the exact system that every hard selling spammer is running without even knowing it. I get lost in the churn and burn model a few times throughout my life. I got lost, and honestly, it happens sometimes. Okay, I want to take a minute to say it still even happens to me. I get excited. Okay, I have to be reminded of this. That's why the 4 pillars of wealth kind of came out, and I didn't necessarily build it. It just kind of came to me. It's a gift. I truly believe in it, and I do my best to live by it, and I have to be reminded of it consistently. That's why it's there. Okay.
Same here for sure.
So especially when I got lost in this churn and burn model a few times throughout my life, especially when I lost my dream job in 2017. I was desperate to make money to support my family. I had no idea where to go or what to do. I was doing everything I could to make things happen. And somehow my health faded. I landed in the hospital again, only this time due to stress. People could smell my desperation. And ultimately, I began falling more behind trying to do things in my own power. But when I began getting back to what was most important, taking good care of my health and focusing on relationships while providing that value. I'm reading a book right now called The Go-Giver, and it speaks to this so incredibly. Okay, like this concept of just giving. What's the secret to success? The big question in this book. And they answer in this book, give. And then there's an awkward silence because you think that there's so much more to it, but there really isn't. It's just giving, providing that value, okay? So I started getting more opportunities, and when I added a keen focus on in providing results as well as solutions to problems, I found myself rich in more ways than one. It truly was and is an enriching experience. As a natural outcome, you'll notice I outlined in chapter 2 that my why to the world is an echo of my why to myself. Why are both whys a reflection of each other? I realized in order to fill a specific gap in my life, the fastest way to achieve my desired outcome was to help others do the same. And in this book, The Go-Giver, that's the big thing that they talk about. Like, you know, the more that you give, the more that you help people get the results that they want, the more that you put out. Like if you look at Bezos, let's talk about Bezos for a second. This is like the guy's a billionaire, right? Do you want to know how much money he's made other people to become a billionaire?
Yeah.
Trillions.
A lot more. Yeah.
Trillions.
Yeah,
that's like you think of $1 billion, the guy and his systems and processes that he developed, that he was inspired to create, have brought in and moved trillions.
Can I, and I agree 100%. Can I speak to this
Yeah.
focus on money thing?
Yeah.
Okay, because I've fallen into this trap both as an employee as well as a business owner, right? Because it's the craziest thing. So like when I was an employee job, it was a good job, paid very very well, right? But I enjoyed it. It wasn't terrible. Okay, the bad thing was that it required a lot of time, right? I'm talking typically 60-hour weeks, sometimes getting really close to 100 hours a week. I had 2 weeks in a row that were like 96 hours one week and then 98 hours the next week. It was terrible. And then I had to travel 2.5 weeks a month for all that. And that was just not fun. And what happened was I was so focused on getting the promotion and moving up to that position. Like I wanted that position,
Yeah.
right? And I was focused on it because that's where I knew I'd make more money. But lo and behold, everything else in my life started deteriorating by my health, my relationships, everything, right? Obviously, I had no time. And so that's when like it finally started to hit me. And I'm like, why am I losing these things? Why am I losing my health, my relationships? What's the reason? And the only reason I can come up with was money. And I thought that's ridiculous. Like I feel like now I'm literally trading money for my family. And it was that realization that got me into entrepreneurship in the first place. But then that's what's interesting about this whole thing. Brian said he has to be reminded of this philosophy here many times, and so do I, because even as a business owner, guess what I did? The exact same thing. I focused on the money, and at the end of the day, right before Brian and I partnered up, I was in the exact same spot. My health was deteriorating drastically because I was so focused on the money, I had nothing else. Right.
Yep.
And it's just really important. Like, stop it.
We're human, okay? Like, and anybody else that like it drives me nuts when I see these big gurus talk about consistency and don't get me wrong, consistency is king. But when you play it as if you wake up at 5 a.m. every single freaking day and you don't skip a beat and you like have everything, that what you're saying is that you're perfect and that nothing gets in your way.
Yeah, no.
Because life gets in your way, especially if you're a parent. Okay? Like that shit, there's stuff, excuse my language. Stuff happens all the time.
Yes.
It happens all the time. I
Yep.
do my best to plan. I pack my lunches a week in advance. I do my best to plan, okay?
Yeah.
But there are things that will come up, and I promise you, things will come up. And that's why we need to set like the mission, vision, and values that we're talking about, because it's like this concept of like, think of like, let's say, a plane. Okay, now planes have autopilot. Okay, but for a second, let's pretend that the plane that we're driving doesn't have autopilot. What happens when you take care, like when you take your hands off
One,
the steering wheel?
yeah. Or like
Or
if the plane, if it's angled just like a 0.5% off from its destination,
you
where does it
constantly
end up?
exactly. But the point is you have to course correct. That's the point of a
All the time.
GPS. Right. The
Yeah.
point of a GPS, I guess I should have started with a GPS, right? You have your GPS, whether you're driving a car or a plane, regardless, you can fall off course. You will fall off course, right?
Yeah.
But you have to consistently course correct. That's what a mission, vision, value system is. That's what I feel the 4 pillars of wealth is it's a course corrector. Because you are human, you're going to make mistakes. You need to be reminded of these things consistently so you can be more consistent.
Yeah.
Because you're not perfect. Not one person in the world is.
A great example, Brian, is when we were going through draft 1, right? And towards the end of that draft, we talk a lot in the book about our success with real estate agents, and it's true, and it was working great. But what we realized is the amount of time and the amount of effort involved with making that kind of money, it became not worth it to us. And we ended up dropping the niche almost entirely just to get refocused on these four pillars of wealth, which we'll be diving into a little bit.
And now we're serving quite a few real estate agents again, but in a different way. In a
Right.
different
In a better
way. In a better way. And we're not going to get into
We're
those
making
details
less
right
money,
now.
but yeah.
Not entirely, because we're serving more people. So we're on course for another record month here. We're serving more people. Yeah, the price point we really listened to the market, and we listened to the we shifted some price point stuff. But I think that we're going to make the most money we've made this month at this rate. I don't see it not like what are we right now? What's the date? Dude, we're already hitting. We're already hit. Basically, we're inches away from what we just did last month, and we've got 2 weeks left. At the point of this recording, right? So, I think we're gonna have a record month, and not only that, we uncovered some other things earlier today, which I think means that we might actually be able to go back and serve a little differently again at some awesome price points. Well, again, neither here nor there, but the point is, yes. We had to focus on kind of like the value systems, and then like even these pillars of wealth, because the time thing, we're going to get into that here in a second. But basically I had to learn, okay, I'll get back into this. So the fastest way to achieve my desired outcome. So as a natural outcome, you notice, did I talk about that part? As a natural outcome?
Let's start there.
Okay, I began to get back to what was most important, taking care of my health. It truly was and is an enriching experience. Okay, so as a natural outcome of all this, okay, you'll notice I outlined in chapter 2 that my why to the, yes, I did say this. My why to the world is an echo to my why to myself. Why are both whys a reflection of each other? I realized that in order to fill a specific gap in my life, the fastest way to achieve my desired outcome was to help others do the same. And again, in this Go Giver book that I'm talking about, man, it's this concept of help more, give more, and do what you love, and then you won't burn out concept because you love it so much. But the more people you help through what you love doing, the gift that you have to give, the more that you receive. Because not only do you enjoy the process, but like wealth comes with that, right? There's so many different forms of wealth. But anyways, I had to learn that providing solutions was going to help me get to our destination faster than focusing on sales. The interesting part of what came with this lesson was learning that a sense of purpose would come with this as well, because my relationships began to flourish. And as a result, I was able to uncover and understand what I call the 4 pillars of wealth. Number 1 is time. It's our most valuable currency. It's our most valuable asset. We don't know how much time we have. I don't know if I'm going to drop dead, like tomorrow, or if I'm going to calmly go away easily in my sleep at the age of 95. I have no idea.
Yeah.
I have no idea how much time I have.
Yeah.
So it is literally the most valuable currency we have. Number 2 is health. And that is really simple. Without it, we don't have as much time. Right?
Right.
Then it's relationships. Without it, money means nothing. Okay. And without health, it's hard to maintain good relationships. Like if you don't have a good relationship with yourself, try having a good relationship with somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Then there's cash flow. Okay. Now, cash flow supports the first 3 pillars. It helps you buy back your time. And if used correctly, it'll help you make healthier decisions. And it can help promote enriching relationships, as you can be more generous with both your money and your time. Can you see how these 4 pillars are like, the world tells us cash flow, money, money, money first. Like that's what we stress about most. That's the thing. It's money, money, money. That's what the world focuses on. Yeah. Money and power, bigger, stronger, faster. Arr. Cash flow, right? I got nothing against cash flow, and I got nothing against Grant Cardone. Okay. You'll talk about it over and over. Cash flow, blah, 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 blah. Awesome. Nothing against it. I love it. I love the idea of wealth. I love the fact that, bank account is on point. That does make me feel comfortable. I will not lie. And again, it does feed these other three pillars.
Yeah.
You don't want to be broke, right? But if all you're focused on is money, your relationships will fade, your health will deteriorate, and like it's not a good use of your time.
Yeah.
It's just it is what it is. Now I'm not Grant Cardone status yet. I believe one day, and you know what? My identity isn't in that. I don't really give a shit whether you have $1 billion or $1 million. We're all going to the same place in terms of, the grave. Okay, where you go from there after that is that's a whole different conversation. But my point is that we came into the world naked. We're leaving just as naked. So I'm not gonna that part doesn't faze me. But you got a thought there, Zach?
Yeah, what's interesting is if you the way you prioritize this as cash flow being number 4. Now notice cash flow is not number 10 in life, right? It's number 4. It's in the top 5. It's still important, right? But what's interesting is I feel like when I was using cash flow as number 1, it was very much, even though I was making money, I didn't feel rich. It didn't feel like I was having a great life. You know what I mean? Versus putting it after time, health, and relationships, all of a sudden that cash flow, even if it might be less, which eventually will be more, okay? I promise you, if you do this prioritization, okay, I'm just saying initially I took a hit, right? Because I decided, you know what, I'm going to ignore the cash flow for a second. I got to reevaluate my life and do this the right way.
Well, you didn't.
Now
You
I'm doing
didn't.
great.
You didn't ignore it, right? Like it's cash flow is the lifeblood of every business. Again, and you need to pay the bills and all that kind of stuff, right? But I just feel like sometimes, and Gary Vee teaches about this quite a bit, is that what the hell is wrong with downgrading and doing what you love, right? Like, what do we need all these massive houses and all these massive cars for? Is there anything wrong with it? No. But can you take it with you where you're going? Ultimately, no. It doesn't go with you. And that's why. Yeah.
Exactly. And that's why putting it in this right order, all of a sudden that cash flow, your relationship with money is different. It's no longer something that you strive for. It's something that you appreciate.
It's something that you expect. They talk about it in this book, The Go-Giver, right? When you're giving, give without expectation to the person that you're giving to, right? Like that's unconditional love. Like I can't tell you how many people that I've been talking with where I just give value, right? Like straight up, and I genuinely want them to win over and over and over. But you just give, right? You give. And we were just having a coaching session just before we jumped on here with one of the people that we are consulting with and helping them with their marketing journey. And I explained to them, if you have multiple offers and you have price points, because there's two different kinds of people in the world, right? One is a person who's looking to save money and the other one's looking to save time. Well, if you got to be able to serve both. There's no reason for you not to be able to serve both, right? But if you understand that if I save, if I help a lot of people, then we talk about the 3 bucket systems, like the DIY, do it with you, do it for you. The do it for you costs quite a bit, right? So you got to have a do it for you offer. The do it with you costs more than to do it yourself, right? But if I go through a process of creating a do it yourself program, and I help a lot of people with that, right? I help a lot of people empower them. I help a lot of people save money to get the result that they want. How many people do you think you're going to attract that want to save time at that point? I'll give you an example. The other day, we're running these ads and we were just the other day, it was I looked at it. We were getting leads for $3 to $5 again. Okay. Yeah. These are people booking time in our calendar to jam. And then all of a sudden, okay, we're sending an invoice. Some people are signing up through this. Oh, there's $1,500, and then the next day is $5K, and then it's some of them are coming in at $497. Some of them are coming in at $1497. Some of them are coming in at $5K. We put out a $10K, the other day, and it's like, it's because when you listen and you understand how people value time and money, you're there to serve. I'm here to help you, and I'm here to serve you. I'm here to give you what you want, how you want it, and the way that you want it, right? And just have those options, right? You can have it your way, right? And create these things based on what you love and what you're passionate about, right? Like for us, we just eat, breathe, and sleep this. It's so much fun for us. And so now what ends up happening, I'm not focused on the money. I'm focused on serving. But as a result of focusing on serving, the money just falls into the account all of a sudden.
Yeah.
We're literally getting email notifications of 5K deals and 10K deals and $497 deals. A few months ago, it was not. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, we got a referral the other day too. Like we get referrals too as well, just kind of sprinkle in. And we got one from our mentor. Like our own mentor is starting to refer people to us, knowing what we do and how we help people, right? And so it's like cash flow becomes not a concern when you prioritize these things.
It becomes the result. It becomes the natural result.
Yes.
Right? I'm focused now on enriching relationships. I'm focused now on, making the best use of my time, which means doing more of the things that I love with the people that I love most. And I'm focused on serving. Yeah. Service over sales. I'm focused on serving. I'm here to help. And that's my whole mentality with pretty well every conversation I have, until I need to actually remind myself of this, because I do it sometimes have to remind myself of this. Okay, but the more that I'm focused on service, the more that I attract the cash flow. It becomes a natural thing. It just happens. It's like, and I can't tell you how many times, we've made out a plan and we've drawn up a goal, and it's important for you to get focused on what that goal is and that number is. It's important for that to happen, and we do it. But 9 times out of 10, the cash for us to hit our goal doesn't actually hit the bank the way we envisioned it.
Right.
We focused on serving and going until the bell is rung. And somehow these opportunities pop up. Like I said, a referral. It was not in my power for that to happen, right? That's where we got into some of the, but those things, and they happen every month. Every single month without fail. And I used to actually be afraid every month. Like, how the hell are we going to do it? Like I'm afraid of my goals, or I'm even afraid of like even making money in general, right? Like, cause I'm an entrepreneur. I'm not trading time for dollars. I'm like, it's based on impact and results to make the income. Right. So I'm like, how the hell is this going to happen? And somehow, every single month, the more that I focus on serving, the more the bigger the opportunities come in, and the more it just flows. It just flows. Yeah. If I focus on serving, get your heart into the service mentality.
Yeah. We
got to move from this concept of entitlement. Get the entitlement out of your head. Get it out of your head. That's not what you were meant for. That's not who you are. You're not here to be entitled. Just give. We don't have enough time to tell some more stories. Maybe in another one. I've just got hit with a thought about a recent thing. Zach probably knows what I'm talking about because we were just talking about it earlier, but I'm not going to go there. Okay. But look, these are the 4 pillars. The time, most valuable currency we have. Health, without it, time is short. Relationships, without it, money means nothing. Cash flow supports all 3 other pillars. And it's a natural outcome when you focus on service. Okay. So as a result of these findings, we've developed a few strong statements within our organizations. And these thoughts and statements are our secret sauce to staying on course and hitting our targets. It's what has led to our wins and what continues to bring us more, using a clear message that converts. And my suggestion to you in finding and building your perpetual success is to take the time to develop the 2 layers of your why. And by doing so, it's going to help you uncover your what and your how. And once you've gained some clarity on your why and your what, it's important to come up with your mission, vision, and value statements to help you stay the course with your how. Now, here's a few quick examples of our statements to the world that depict our mission, our vision, and our value systems. Our mission is to help rockstar entrepreneurs and business leaders with that champion mindset to ignite passion into their profession and drive purpose-driven success so they can do more of the things they love with the people they love most. That's important to note. Notice who I'm describing in the mission vision or in the mission. Does it sound familiar? First, it's a description of me. I see myself as a rockstar entrepreneur and business leader with that champion mindset. It's also most likely a description of you with where you're at right now or what you're gunning to be. This statement will attract one of two kinds of people. One, the person that encompasses these qualities, and the person that strives to become this person. Okay, and when I say rockstar entrepreneur and business leader with that champion mindset, like it's a description of me, that's also who I strive to be. I don't always feel like that every day. But I'm describing, I'm saying that's my declaration. It's who I am. And it's who I gun to attract. Okay. This intentionality around your message will call out your audience, raise their antennas, and even repel the wrong audience. Remember, you can't be all things to everyone. You're not here to win all people. You, your product, or your service is not for everyone. Once you figure this out, life will get much easier, I promise. Look, some of you are speaking orange and some of you are speaking banana. You're not speaking the same language of everybody out there in the world. You're going to attract, some of you are going to, as an orange, you're going to attract oranges, and as a banana, you're going to attract bananas. Right? So back to our statements to the world. The vision is helping millions of mission-driven entrepreneurs and business leaders. And I say mission-driven, it is still the rockstar entrepreneurs and business leaders to 3x, 5x, and 10x their revenue and retention systems through digital marketing and sales. And our values is that relationships are the foundation of everything that we do. We take a people over profits approach, and we will never let money stop us or drive us. If we are to take a value statement and make it one word, it would be communication. Communication is our highest priority, tying it all into one significant statement. We help you ignite passion into your profession so you can drive purpose-driven success. Now, these statements encompass who we are and drive everything that we do. And I encourage you to come up with your own versions of these messages so that you can be fully invested into your dream, your vision, your mission, and your value system. They'll drive your success and your significance deeper, wider, and faster as you live them out. They'll help you get more quality buy-ins with like-minded individuals driving perpetual purpose-driven success into your business, your mission, vision, and value system. Now, why is a mission, vision, and value system so important? Let me give you an example. Almost a year ago, we were approached by two potential clients. Each potential client was what we would consider to be a high profile. One was a 5-time New York Times bestselling author who had been featured on Oprah a few times. The other is a Stanley Cup champion and Olympic gold medalist whom the great one, Mr. Wayne Gretzky himself, actually handpicked for Team Canada in 1991. One of these potential clients didn't pass our mission, vision, and values filter. You never guess which individual we said no to. I'll actually never forget expressing, I came into this world naked, and I'm leaving just as naked. I've got nothing against cash flow. Matter of fact, I love cash flow. I expressed this while standing in a luxurious home at the time. It was my grandparents. I was going there because I couldn't go to the office on the south side of Calgary anymore because we weren't an essential service. So we were basically kicked out of our office. So I was driving 4.5 hours to go stay at my grandparents to be able to work because I can't work at the place that I was at the time. At home with the kids and stuff. It just wasn't able to. So, but I was standing in this luxurious home. Like my grandparents just sold this home, but it was like where I grew up. It's let's put it this way. He's been trying to sell it for years, but real estate agents have been having a hard time selling it because of the fact that there's no other house in town that compares.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So I expressed this while standing in this basement, and that was clearly bought and paid for with more than just peanuts. And I added, we've got a rule with our organization that if we can't see ourselves introducing our kids to our strategic partners and potential clients, if you will, then we will refer them elsewhere, as time is our most valuable asset. And we value our time more than anything. Revisit the 4 pillars of wealth. So we referred another individual that we thought would be a good fit for this 5-time New York Times bestselling author who was featured on Oprah. But why? And by the way, who we referred him to was also a piece of work. I don't like. Yeah, they were a perfect match. They were a match made in heaven. But ultimately, look, I don't want you to not get what you want. I'll refer you. I won't just say suck it and get out of my face. I referred them.
Right.
I think that they would do great together, right? But look, but why? What was the reason for this decision? Well, to give context, I knew that if I was to set up an agreement with this individual, that we would become a slave to her disrespectful ways of communication and ultimately a slave to money. We would continue to struggle with her projects and as a result, waste our time drowning in frustration while sucking any piece of life-giving energy that we had. Let's just say that our Queen 5-time New York Times bestseller and Oprah star didn't care about relationships. The entire conversation surrounded transactions and sales, very churn and burn. Now, did she have a ton of money? Yes. Would we have made a ton of quick cash? Yes, but not without a headache. Is it possible to be successful with the churn and burn model? Absolutely. Do you want to sacrifice relationships to get that success? If the answer is yes, this book and program isn't for you. You can pack up your shit and go. Do you want to live for money, or do you want money to enrich your life, your relationships, and your overall health?
Exactly.
Let's make the best of your time by becoming more intentional and igniting passion into your profession while driving purpose-driven success so you can drive more impact and income with your own mission, vision, and value system. That is chapter 3, draft 2.
That's amazing. I loved it.
Thanks,
loved it,
bro.
100%. And that's couldn't have said it better, man. That's exactly right. In my journey, I've never felt richer than I am right now.
Amen. Right? Me too. And I was actually just telling Zach yesterday. I was like, dude, and it was funny because he says, what did you say? Could you say that to my kids?
Oh yeah.
Remember that? Right. I was like, dude. Yeah, go ahead.
Brian's like, Zach, dude, you're just so fun to work with. You're like the most fun partner ever. And I'm like, can I record you saying that so I can replay that to my kids, because they don't think I'm fun at all.
Yeah. And I rebutted that with a nice inspirational moment, and I said, look, man, some of the coolest people in the world, like Ozzy Osbourne and like Gene Simmons, those guys were like, at one point in time, they had their own TV shows and the whole world loved them. They were like the coolest alpha dogs on the face of the earth, but their kids still thought they were losers. Like, it doesn't matter. Your kids will always have that edge of like, like, it doesn't matter how cool the whole world might think I am. Like, it won't matter. My kids will always have an edge. Right. So, but anyway, like I was saying, like I am literally doing all the things that I love. Like, that's our mantra. Do more of the things you love with the people you love most. Well, Zach has become like my best friend, my brother. Like, I call it, like, my kids, I don't know. My kids haven't really spent time with him yet, but like, it's Uncle Zach, it's Uncle Zach on the phone. Like, I love working with Zach. He's my, like, it's more than just business. It's so much fun. We love what we do the whole time. Is there challenges? Yeah. Just like being married, like when you're in any kind of relationship, nothing's perfect. Nothing's always going to be perfect because neither one of us are perfect. Right. But we always come back to these concepts and these mission, vision, and values. And it reminds us, and we're able to be graceful with each other, mostly Zach with me, because I'm a bit of a bull in a china shop sometimes. But Zach is extremely graceful with me, and I really appreciate that. And it also makes me work on myself quite a bit because of it. So, and I just love it. It's a lot of fun.
Well, I love it too, man. Feelings mutual. We have a lot of fun together, and you know what? And that's what it's all about. If we can help each other grow and keep these 4 pillars of wealth in line, right? And call each other out when we're messing that up, right? Then that's great. That's exactly what we need to do.
And when your message is so clear, like, I don't think I've ever had a time where you've actually had to point that out to me. I've actually been the one to come to you saying, oh man, I gotta take my own medicine on this one. You're like, oh shit, me too. Like, I don't think I've ever kind of gotten down your throat and been all like, that doesn't align with this and blah, blah, blah. I sometimes have been all like, this part I'm finding is, I got to bring it back to this or something like that. But I've never been like, you're not following the code, like,
right.
You know, it's always like, so, but it can be, that's the thing. That's that navigation system, if you will, the GPS. And it's just, it's a lot of fun. We want you to have that too. We thank you so much for being here with us today. Do we want to point them to a link or something on our way out, or?
Yeah. So guys, go to, I guess, we have a season 2 one already set up, don't we?
We do, I think. Yeah. So it's go.convertoncommand.pro/passion2profits season 2. And so it's go.convertoncommand.pro/passion-2-profits-season-2. And you can also do that all one word. So it could be go.convertoncommand.pro/passion-2-profits season 2, all one word.
I forgot we revamped that page, man. This thing looks so sexy.
It is. Yeah, it is. It is on point.
Just go there for no other reason. Just go there to check out how awesome the page is.
Yeah. And I think I did say at one point that I would have a little question bar or something, or at least a little question chat bot. Yeah, maybe we should put a little question chat thing there, so that if anybody has any questions, they can ask us questions there. But ultimately, the page, you'll explain everything and how you can become a part of the inner circle and how you can like get grandfathered into some really wicked things to be a part of this amazing community. And for all of those that are actually inner circle members already too, like through referral, some of the ways that you can generate some awesome income, drive impact and income through everything that we offer. Look, like really quick before we go, if you know anything, when you're in these inner circle programs that we have with you, if you ever refer anybody to us, you get a commission, man. Like, you don't have to do anything other than just say, hey, check these guys out, talk to them, and if it leads to anything, even if it's a high ticket, like we have literally got people that have introduced us to, referrals, and they have no idea that they're getting and this is part of giving, right? This is what we love, man. Like, if anybody ever introduced us to anybody, we got a guy who is about to make $500, right?
He doesn't even know it. We had another guy make $1,500. He didn't even know it, just because he introduced us to somebody, and boom, we have a system built in where you make a percentage of the commission depending on the size of the offer, right? Some of the offers, when they're smaller ticket, you can make up to 50% of the commission. Like the page that if you go to that Passion or Profit page that we just shared with you, and when it's high ticket, 10% off of a nice high ticket item between 10 and 20K is serious, right? Like that lady, how we ended up with that NHL champion star, that lady went away with some serious coin on that one, like. So, but we'll leave you with that. We want to thank you so much for being a part of our community, for taking a listen, and we look forward to seeing you next week. See you guys.
Cheers. Thanks for listening to the Convert on Command podcast, sponsored by Convert on Command and Mission Ignition Marketing. If you want to ignite your business and increase your sales, Be sure to visit convertoncommand.pro and set up a time that works best for you in the calendar at the bottom of the page under the latest feature video.